Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So we gotta stop the dooming and glooming about the what happened last 2 nights ago. You know, we should always try our best as a Republican Party, as a majority party, to win elections. But you know, hey, I think we need to accept part of the reality that we are the majority party, and it's always been the case. It's been the case under Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, under his tenure, Republicans lost every election. And I just think, I don't want to go with the loser mentality, but part of the reality is we are the majority party, and because we don't have a reason to get out and vote, because we are happy what we're seeing as supporters of the president. And his agenda, we have no anger and no reason to get out and vote. So obviously we'll have the no kings idiots going out and voting, and that's kind of the reality. So it was a shock, it was a disappointment. I think our Republican Party can do better, because if we are the party of common sense, then we won't be the party of common sense unless we correct this problem. Yes, we are going to lose races, critical races, mostly because we are the majority party. That's really how it goes. But I'm just wanting a competent GOP. We did good in the turnout in New Jersey, better compared to 2023, which I think is good gaining. And this isn't, I would say, a cope. This is truth. Barack Obama, he lost. The Democrats were wiped out in 2009, wiped out in 2010, wiped out in 2013, reelected somehow in 2012. Well, actually, yeah, 2013, pardon me. 2011. Then they were wiped out again in 2013. 2014 was a red wave. 2015 was a red wave. 2016 was a red wave. That's because they were the majority party. Republicans were mad at Barack Obama. It is what it is. But I understand the reality that, Joe Biden and his Democratic Party, they enjoyed some wins during his tenure, like in 2023. And what we were expecting is 2021 to be, 2025 to be something like that. But even though it was not at all what we were hoping it would be, we have to use these negatives that came out on Tuesday night as somewhat of an advantage in the future. And one big negative that really took place last night, and this isn't just for Republicans, it's actually for the whole entire country, and that is the election of Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani, officially the mayor-elect, taking office on January the 1st. And for the very first time in history, New York City will have a socialist mayor. Our founding fathers, they're the leaders of the 20th century. Man, oh man, they're rolling in their graves. I can only imagine the words of Senator McCarthy, Joseph McCarthy, who I really admire, by the way. Oh, people moan and groan over this guy. I don't care. This guy spoke truth. Communism and socialism is the satanic ideology of the day. Fascism, I don't care. It's 1945. It's in the ground for over 80 years. You know the reason why the left, they like to use fascism, because it sticks. It sticks. It's a nice catchphrase that actually gets people up and going. It's something but only stupid people will believe in it. Only stupid people, because comparing the amount of socialists and fascists, 99% socialists are more popular. The popularity rate between the population, between socialists and fascists worldwide, 99% are socialists. So what's the bigger threat? What's the bigger threat? I don't understand. And apparently, we know the people that use fascism as a talking point are socialists, because that's really what the agenda is. So you got Zoran Mandami elected mayor, and you'll see that, the Democrats, they're all shell-shocked. They're all surprised Pikachu-faced that we're not moaning and groaning and fear-mongering about Zoran becoming, what am I saying? What the heck? They're all surprised Pikachu-faced that, we aren't celebrating this historic win, we aren't happy, blah, 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 blah. No, they're all shell-shocked that we're scared. We are scared. Because you elected a tyrant. You elected a tyrant, a knucklehead. And we already seeing, this is day 2, people are leaving New York City at mass. It is said, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that Texas and Florida's housing is booming. Booming. People are buying houses like in Texas and Florida like crazy. And I'm just saying, hey, look, Democrats, you want to double down on this? Hey, this is only benefiting Republicans. Yes, sure, you won the night at the end of the day. Congratulations, Democrats. Yes, I congratulated you. Yeah, good job. Good job. But yet again, you're losing again. You're going back to losing. You had one night of winning. Now you're back to losing because all your voters that you need are leaving and going into red states. What do you think that's going to do? It's going to give us more seats, dummy. Come on. Texas is already projected to gain 3 more seats. Same thing with Florida. Want to give them another 3? Meanwhile, we're subtracting electoral votes and seats from New York, and this guy seems to be the sole reason. So if you want to do this, Democrats, you want to play the game, the funny game, okay, we'll do it. We'll play the game with you. And like I said, the election of Zoran Mandami has serious consequences. And today, we will go over the results. I think the result is quite obvious. It was a closer election than what many people had anticipated, and this is good news for Republicans. Yeah, sure, Zoran Mandami got 50%. Oh, geez, 51% or what? It's mainly because he was the Democratic nominee. New York City's going to vote for the Democratic nominee, but let's admit it. Let's go to 2021. New York City went for Eric Adams by 66%. I want to know what 2017 was like, actually. Yeah, you've had a long history here. I'm looking at, you saw this collapse, but mainly the Republicans gained nothing out of everything. The Republicans collapsed, but hey, Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo, so you could say that Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa were the united Republican, or both 2 Republicans running. Ultimately, it was no surprise that Curtis Sliwa was taking votes away from Andrew Cuomo. Water's wet. We knew that. But you'll see that the map is something that you would expect New York City to be. It looks very similar to that 2021 New York City mayoral race, but it's a less darker blue, you'll see. And that's a reason why this race was highly speculated, because not everyone's on board with Zoran Mandami, and because no one's on board with Zoran Mandami, not everyone's on board with this lunatic. This is why his election is going to have future consequences over the next 4 years, especially in New York. And in those consequences, I'm referring to the midterms. Yes, the Democrats will tell you, blue wave, blue wave, it's going to be a blue wave. Oh, please, hold your horses. Yeah, sure, you might get a blue wave if history's correct. And the chances are you will probably, I won't say it's a blue wave, because you got very unfavorable maps. You'll probably do good, Democrats. I don't doubt that you won't do good. But you're not getting a blue wave with this guy. Are you? You must be high on something if you think that you're getting a blue wave with this clown, this guy. Because I'm looking at the energy, and I know. All 2025, all we've been talking about was energy, specifically in New Jersey. But we are seeing the energy is obvious. This isn't energy from polls. This isn't energy from money and donations and finance. Nope. This is actually in front of you. Physical energy. We're seeing people leave. When you see people leaving New York City, people are leaving New York City even before. When this lunatic won the primary. Like, we covered the primary, right? We covered it not too long ago. This lunatic ended up, all these people ended up leaving. And now even more are leaving. As a result, you should expect, if you're from New York, and you should expect that, hey, as a result of this, businesses are going to close, okay? Businesses, small businesses, especially because, of course, Zohran Mamdani is very hostile to these small businesses. I don't know about corporate America, but I would imagine those government grocery stores are going to affect corporate America drastically. But ultimately, yeah, small businesses are going to collapse. Like, this New York City is going to be the antagonist of small business. And where are they going to go? Well, the housing and the trends are saying Florida and Texas. So if you're from Florida and Texas, new jobs are coming to you, near you. And, hey, I'm sorry to anyone, and I mean it, to anyone, that didn't vote for this guy, that either voted for Andrew Cuomo or Curtis Sliwa, but didn't vote for this guy, and now their lives are ruined. I am so sorry for you. I'm not from New York City. I'm so glad I'm not from it. Because there was one time in my life, and I said, this was before my knowledge of politics, I'm like, New York City looks like this dazzling wonderland. Nope. Are you kidding me? I was like in 7th grade. Oh, we should go move to New York City. First of all, my parents looked at me like I was crazy. You know how expensive it is? But yeah, you thought New York City was crazy before. It's hell on earth. It really is. And the woke New Yorkers will say, oh, well, how dare you say that about our city, blah, 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 blah. Well, how dare you elect a socialist? You elected a socialist. Expect people to call you crazy. Because not too long ago, New York City actually voted Republican in 2009. Well, let's be honest. It wasn't really a Republican win. But Michael Bloomberg, a woke Republican, liberal Republican, was aligned with the Republican Party. He was an independent. So, I was born in 2004. You could say I was alive to see a red New York. So, and it's been like 20 years. 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy how long it's been. And now we'll actually go and vote for a socialist over a Republican. I understand the logic and the fact that, New York is politically hostile to conservatism. Yeah, I know that. It's always been that. I don't know what is this going on? Open. Yeah. Yeah, it's always been like that. But I mean, come on. You're voting for your demise. And I get it. His race was all about affordability. Then again, I'm telling you, Republicans need to be more populist. Republicans need to campaign more on trying to. This is a war of populism. The Democrats are embracing far left rhetoric, mainly to get more young people in. Okay, more young people. Like, this is their leader, guys. Zohran Mamdani is their leader. He can't be the president. He is Ugandan. And he was born in Uganda. He's not a U.S. citizen. Although he may be a U.S. citizen. I don't know. I mean, he had the option to support Harris, so I could assume that he can vote. But he's barred from running for public office, for president, at least. Mainly due to the fact that, you were a naturalized U.S. citizen, naturally born U.S. citizen. But hey, Gavin Newsom could change that law if he ever becomes president or some woke lunatic. So forbid them not. But this guy will be a supplement of George Soros, because George Soros is 90-something. He's going to die like next year, this year. I don't know. He's old. And who's going to replace him? It's this guy, Zohran. And the thing about George Soros is no one knows who he is. Okay, he's actively lurking in the shadows under the behalf of the far left in the Democratic Party. This guy is going to be out in the plain open. But the question is, are people going to care? And that's why I'm going to say, hey, look, if Republicans want to win the midterms, odds are against us because we are the majority party. Okay, that is something. But hey, we have good odds on the fact that, hey, we are already crossed 51 seats. That's a blessing. Those 51 seats in the Senate we're guaranteed to carry, and we have a favorable House map. Okay, the question is, if we are going to, what I want to call, create a blue dribble, or a blue dribble, a Democrat dribble, this is how we're going to do it. We know Kathy Hochul is doing a very bad job in New York. We don't want this to be like New Jersey, and why I think New York's going to be a little bit different compared to New Jersey is the fact that, New York is not a battleground state. Therefore, Democrats have no real reason to form a coalition. Okay? They have no real reason to form a coalition like they did in New Jersey. Okay? They don't really know Mikey Sherrill that much. She has a clean record so far, despite her scandals. So she was easy to make a coalition under. Kathy Hochul is very unpopular among far leftists and even establishment Democrats. So it's going to be much harder for Democrats to form a coalition under her. Now, we're not aiming to flip New York City, but we're mostly aiming to gain state seats, state Senate seats, state House seats, along with 3 U.S. congressional seats. 3 seats. That's our goal. Ultimately, we're also trying to, take a moral victory, a political victory that, hey, look, we can make this the closest gubernatorial race in New York, in New York State history. We can do this. And I know the left will say, oh, you guys lost so badly, blah, 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 blah. Hey, what can we say? 4 years ago, You guys were all about winning the midterms in 2022, about trying to stop Republicans from winning the midterms. Hey, we Republicans, we're just reading off of your playbook. Hey, I think it's fair to make fun of us if we didn't do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be a competent party. I'm just saying. Although these leftists would disagree. But yeah, this is already the 2022 gubernatorial race has already broken a record of being one of the most closest gubernatorial races in state history. And even 2014 was technically close. I'm going specifically all the way to like 2002. Record. Our closest so far by 2 points is 1994. And the question is, can we beat 1994? Where, the Republican ended up winning the gubernatorial race in 1994. So I don't think we're going to win. I'm just saying, this is, as long as Democrats have New York City, I don't think we'll ever win New York, but the question is, can we leave a dent in the morality of Democrats? Okay, if they're going to really win the midterms and they blow it in New York, I would not call this a midterm win for them. Because really, they're not going to gain like 50 House seats. Because, number one, only 15 seats are tossed up. So explain to me the math. Second, yeah, you also have 3 Senate seats that are up for contest. Very limited seats to grab, by the way. Can't generate a blue wave with that. And you blow it in New York? Because I'm looking at the energy. Because midterms are next year. This guy's taking office in January. He has a year to implement his policies. And just like President Trump, I would assume that it would take like 1 year to actually feel the effects of the Zoran Mandami effect. But I would say mostly economic-wise. When he's going to do the government grocery stores, I guess that really does depend. Crime, we know, will go through the roof. Like, let's be real. This guy is not going to equip police. This guy hates police, by the way. So let's be real. We know the freaks and the lunatics will back him 100%. They're not going to vote Republican whatsoever. And judging by the results, you have majority of freaks and lunatics voting for Zoran, over 1 million of them. But you have almost 1 million that seems to be sane enough to reject Zoran Mandami. Seems to be sane enough to say no. So, will you get 41%? And Zoran Mandami underperforming Eric Adams by like 16 points. This only leads me to believe that there's going to be consequential movement in New York. Now, Democrats may have a reason to get out and vote in 2026 to stick it to Trump. But electing Zoran Mandami gave New Yorkers a reason to get out and vote. To stick it to Mandami. Now, Mandami isn't on the ballot. But he is. Because Trump's not on the ballot in 2026. But Democrats put him on the ballot. Just like he was on the ballot for some reason this year. Because Democrats made him an issue. Zoran Mandami will be an issue. And adding to the lack of energy and support for Kathy Hochul, they don't like this lady. She endorsed Zoran Mandami, which is going to make a major blow. Now, I don't even believe the polls anymore after what happened this time around. But then again, we were so dense to actually believe that, Democrats were going to form a coalition. So we do have the opportunity, according to this poll, but I take this poll as much as smaller as a mustard seed. And I won't even say that the Manhattan Institute poll was all that good either, because the chances are that, I don't know if Kathy Hochul wins, or Antonio Delgado, he could possibly win. I don't know. I really don't know. But Hochul is, of course, the incumbent, although she's very unpopular. She might win re-election barely, renomination. But if she does, that's a win. And if Antonio Delgado, the left wing, the Democrats, they need to nominate this lunatic. Okay? They nominate them. Maybe their problem gets a little bit better. But at least the Kathy Hochul problem is solved because she's gone. They threw her away like in a dispenser box. But the Zohran Mamdani problem still exists, because we're talking about Zohran Mamdani. He's going to be a huge, significant impact, specifically in the 3rd and 4th districts of New York. He's going to be a huge impact. We're talking about Tom Suozzi, and that's why you have Tom Suozzi appearing on mainstream media saying, I don't think Zohran Mamdani is a good idea. I don't think we're ready for this. America, this isn't a good idea. Why do you think he's saying that? Why do you think he's saying that? Because, this is the 3rd district, smack by Queens, and not to mention, part of the 3rd district, this is Queens right here, is actually in that area in New York City. And we know this district is winnable. Heck, Tom Suozzi just won by 4. We know the February election was different, mostly due to because this was, of course, a special election. Republicans barely 79,000 people of a turnout. They never turn out in these elections. But this time around, you have a socialist running for mayor. You really need just to win. You have to have a good, respectable turnout in Nassau County and a respectable turnout in Queens. And you pull it off. I mean, George Santos ended up flipping the seat by like 5 points. So I'm not going to say this is going to be a cakewalk, but it can be done. And it all is thanks to idiots like Zohran Mamdani. Another example, another critical seat. Now, this is a seat, if I'm correct, if I'm not mistaken, this seat, unlike District 3, was carried by Kamala Harris. That's the other thing in it mentioned. This is a Trump district. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Trump district. Now, I get it. Mamdani won Trump voters, but I'm curious and we know, let's remember, Trump won minority voters in New York City. We're talking about Muslims. We're talking about immigrants that are allowed to vote. Okay? Well, I'm to clarify, legal immigrants. Okay? You always have to add that in there. Legal immigrants, black people. He's won diverse crowds, and the chances are they weren't right-wing or left-wing. They were just populist. They were going to vote for the populist candidate. And Zohran Mamdani was that. But my hunch is they're going to learn very quickly that, left-wing populism's not that great because it's very unrealistic. It's very wishy-washy. It's very fantasy. lots of fantasy in left-wing populism. Lots of fantasy in it. And we're talking about Trump district. I mean, they might throw up Tom Suozzi. Who knows? I'm just saying. Zoran Mandami supporters. The loyalists may not even back Tom Suozzi. Hey, this guy was against the Mandami campaign. He might get punished. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, I'm just saying, my recent history, this is the history of the left I'm looking at. And you also have this, District 4, which doesn't come from, there is no New York City attached, and that's not really the reason why I mention it. It's close enough to New York City where policies are going to be impacted. So, yes, I'm talking about crime, specifically. Crime. Yeah, New York City crime is out of control. Why do you think, you could say, oh, well, I could just move my business out into the suburbs, out of New York City, into like Nassau County, and this is my business over there. They're not doing that. They're going far away, deep into America. Why do you think they're doing that? Why don't they do the more affordable option and just go into Nassau County? It's not just the affordability, which, Mondami thinks he's going to fix. He's not. He's going to make it worse. That's what he's going to do, because socialism does nothing. People are saying, you know what? It's not affordability. It's also leadership. It's also crime. Because the impacts of New York City is going to be felt in northern New Jersey, in Connecticut, in Westchester County, in upstate New York, Rockland County, and even Suffolk County. What you're looking at is Democrats losing 2 seats, at least 2 seats, because of Zoran, really. Because, we're talking about reasons to get out and vote. New Yorkers are going to punish Kathy Hochul, and they're going to punish her even harder with the Zoran Mandami deal. They're also going to punish Tom Suozzi and Laura Gillen. I'm looking at the trends. And I'm not liking them. And you already have Anthony Despacito already being put up as an option for being a representative of possibly running and being the nominee. I'm open to it, and this can be winnable, because let's face it, it's kind of hard to stick it to Trump in New York. Because we know what you guys are made of in New York. Not of everything. The biggest you've sticked it to Trump was in this election. Good for you. But let's face it. Elise Stefanik's going to lose. I'd be very surprised if she does win. And she actually becomes governor. If she wins, which I really doubt she will, midterms are over. It doesn't matter if you win the House. You lost New York. When you lost New York, you lose everything. And this proves to us that your Mondani guy is not as big as you think he is. So I'm curious to know the results of the midterms. We, of course, will cover the midterms starting now and go full force after January 1st. We'll resume the community posts where we will update each race going forward. Even the not really the most competitive races we will start analyzing. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.